Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Peacemaker premiere review. I am here with Grimmo,
Yellow.
Ralph,
Yes.
and unfortunately, Lewis cannot be with us today, but we have our very special guest, Shades, aka Zach. Say hello, Zach.
Hi, everybody.
And today we're going to be talking about the premiere of Peacemaker, James Gunn's latest comic book project after the Suicide Squad. And I'm pretty sure we have a good, field of opinions about this show and how it really turned out for all of us. But before that, I really would appreciate if you guys hit the subscribe, hit the bell, just to see when we make other content like this. And don't forget, we get a podcast every Friday. So yeah. All right. So we're going to start with the non-spoiler review of this. And then after saying our final thoughts generally about this show, we'll go into the spoiler. So let's start it off with our guest here, Zach. Without spoiling anything, how did you feel about Peacemaker?
Just the overall show?
Yeah.
And I like it, and at the same time, I don't, which is such a contrast and makes no obvious sense. But it's likable, and then there's obvious dislikes about it that are somewhat stupid, but there are genuinely good parts of it, which I feel James Gunn should get credit for. Like, he did really well. They come out pretty great, and it stays pretty, I guess, in line with what he started in Suicide Squad, the 2020 version, that's
2021.
Yeah, 2021. Oh god, where's the years gone? All right, so yes, the 2021 version. I don't know, it seems in line with what he started for that character, but I don't know, it seems like for Warner Brothers as a whole, and to be one of their front running promotion shows, it seems like a whole completely 180 direction for them to take.
Okay. Ralph,
I don't know about if anybody else has thoughts.
Yeah, Ralph, what do you think, man?
Personally, I didn't really like the show. I found it comedy's covering up a lot of main points, and the comedy kind of dragged on a lot to the point where this honestly could have been the 3-episode premiere. Probably could have been 1.5, 2 episodes if they cut down on comedy, and it was kind of unfortunate that it took that route. But you can definitely see the craziness of James Gunn in the series already. Like, you can already see that a lot of this is definitely his vision, and this is his style of directing, and it's cool to see that. But on some occasions, it's kind of just it's a little bit too much, and it's not even dark humor at that point. It's just kind of weird.
Yeah.
And I didn't really enjoy it too much.
Fair enough. Grimm?
All right. Well, there is a lot I want to cover on this show. First is that I think personally, it's the show DC needs. Now, I understand you guys didn't like the amount of comedy and humor it had, but remember, right now where DC stands is it's at a cluster of chaos where nobody really wants to be affiliated with DC in terms of cinematic universe. So the fact that they made a show which has a lot of fun, it's DC characters, but in a fun way. Obviously, DC is known for their darker humor, but having that whole, something that you're not, something that a fan could watch, and something that someone that isn't a fan could watch is freaking fantastic. I could watch this show with someone who does not care at all for DC, and they'll probably enjoy it because there's some sort of humor in there. There's different types of humor, and obviously, there's gonna be a lot of controversy with the racist jokes and hard language that they use in there, but I feel like there's a different type of humor for every moment, and some may hit some audiences, some may hit others, but it makes a DC show worth watching and not have to care about the deep universe. You could watch it and be like, "Oh, that's really cool." It's just some superhero, but I don't have to care about the deep universe to love it. So I feel like it's a break from having to actually care about deep dive and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think I agree with all of you, and I know that's wow, coldest take ever. I think I agree with all of you, but in some manner or form, I feel like there's a lot in this show that is left to be desired, but also does a lot of things right that for me as a DC show. Now, I do agree with Grimm. Um, this project is a step in the right direction, along with Suicide Squad, showing that when DC lets its directors, direct, it can make something great, you know? And it's unfortunate with what happened with Zack Snyder and I believe Ayers, who did the original 2016 Suicide Squad movie. Their creative freedom was definitely just not was being like upheld, wasn't being upheld, and I'm glad to see that it's a change of pace with James, who is able to do whatever he envisions with Peacemaker and the Suicide Squad. Now, do I think the show the whole time is great? No. There is so much crude, I guess, not crude language. I think crude jokes that is not for everybody. And I think that's kind of the point. Some of these jokes are, I believe for me, is just meant to be off-putting and like sort of in character for, the people that say them. So for me, I feel like Peacemaker I wouldn't go so as far as like this is the show DC needs, but it is a good step in the right direction for other directors and actors and creators wanting to jump into more DC projects. So I give this show a solid 7 out of 10.
Really?
I would say the same thing. I would say 7.5, mainly for the fact that for me at least, I enjoyed the jokes, I enjoyed the comedy, I enjoyed some of the references that were made. I enjoyed the twist of Peacemaker because in the comics he's very political, and like being the peacemaker is a last resort that he never wanted to go with. So the fact that he's a little more funny and he seems like he has, mental issues, it shows a more humane version of the character, and it's like you can sort of relate. I know a few people who are dumb that would say some of the stuff that he says. I also, but the one big issue is that I feel like everybody in that show is dumb, and I feel like that's where the problem lies.
Yeah.
The fact that when you have one dumb character, okay, it's fine. We have shows like Dragon Ball where at first Goku was very dumb and it just made everything jokey. And
Well,
in
I
One
wouldn't say that.
Piece, Luffy
I
was
think
very
I
dumb.
think the best way to describe this is childish. And
Well, it's like not it's like ignorance, but in a good way.
yeah, don't come at my boy
It
Goku.
makes him,
I don't like when you start
he
talking
wasn't
about anyone
smart,
like
and
Goku.
it's true. Bro, he wasn't smart, and it's true.
True.
And so and Luffy wasn't even smart either.
Lucy.
And he was so funny. And Naruto was also so like these dumb
Yeah.
main characters are fun. But the problem is when the world around them is also dumb, it's like, you're doing too much. You're adding too much of the same flavor. Change it up.
I agree. Zach, what would you give this show so far? The first 3 episodes, I mean.
The first few episodes that I've watched, and I want to agree with I agree wholly with Grimm's point that it is a deviation from just the standard. Okay, you're a fan of DC, you want just straight DC content exactly how you want it, and they break away very strongly from the Marvel template of even for darker shows or comedic shows. But I don't know. I give it a 6.5 because out of 10 because one, it's James Gunn, so I know he has direction and I can give him the benefit of the doubt that this at least has a plan. But at the same time, the humor, I don't know. There's darker humor shows from DC like the animated Harley Quinn series, which is a perfect example. I personally love it. It's the right amount of dark humor, funny, just silly comedic jokes, but that are rooted in a storyline. And they don't I don't know, it feels like Peacemaker's trying to be this like hero thing, and like in the case of Harley Quinn, the animated series, they already know what they are and they fully admit it to themselves. Like in the show, she completely admits, I'm a villain. I'm gonna kick people's ass and I don't give a shit what happens. It is what it is. So the difference I think in that is that from what I've seen of Peacemaker is that he's conflicted, and you'll see that throughout the series without spoilers. And you'll just know that over time that's supposed to change, but you don't really they don't ever come out and say it at all, or at least not that I've seen.
Okay. Ralph, how about
Thank
this?
you.
How would you give what rating would you give this premiere of this show?
Personally, I'd only give it a 5. Like, I don't. I think it is a direction. I wouldn't call it great. Like, I wouldn't call it. I really wouldn't say that this is the best direction that DC could go with, because it really feels like it feels like this is kind of a last. This is definitely a last resort for them, and it's kind of like the only direction or the only way they found success in the last couple movies. Like in Suicide Squad, like that was the most recent. Like that's the only. I'd say that's probably like the only good DC movie that came out in the last few years, last couple of years, and I feel like because they found it, like I feel like they went with that theme of comedy, and sure it's a great idea, but making it into a series, they kind of up the comedy and stupidity of it like way too high. I feel like it was cranked like to 11 to the point where it was so unnecessary, and it was kind of just annoying to watch, to be honest, for me.
Can I add something to that?
Go ahead.
I feel like that's the point. I feel like that this is supposed to be a show that you watch in the background. When we get to the spoiler part where we actually deep dive into the show, I will give it my honest comic book fan rating, which is completely different from this. Right now I'm rating it as someone who just sometimes wants to watch something when they're bored, or they just want to have something in the background. They don't really want
Yeah,
to
that's
think. They don't want to
that's
use
why
the.
I rate it.
It's like
That's why I rate it low
it's like
though, because like that's not the type of show that's it's about opinion. Because I definitely wouldn't watch something like this as like a background show or something.
like
Yeah,
this
me
is
neither.
well, this is
I
the
kind of
reason
agree
why.
with Ralph.
But this is like a Family Guy or a South Park or a Adult Swim show, Robot Chicken. This is supposed to be just that adult dumb night type of show. Just you don't have to use your brain. You just put it on, laugh your ass off, and just go to sleep. Like this is not something you should take too hard or learn anything new from.
Do you mind if I interject, Grim?
No, go ahead.
I, I can agree with that. I can agree wholly that it should be that kind of show if it's going to be that. But then Warner Brothers should not be marketing it as if it's the next, I don't know, Titans, or as if it's the next, I don't know, what, Flash or Arrow or something that kids can see on TV or see on a streaming network, because that's become prevalent in our time now,
I don't think
and
they
just
market
jump into
this
it.
for kids.
Well, I
I
know,
wouldn't say
yes,
this
they
is.
didn't market
Yeah,
for kids, but they he's portrayed as a superhero, and to every younger mind that's not 18 or up, yeah, that's just going to immediately jump to,
I
all right,
don't
he's a hero, quote unquote.
I don't agree with you because he's not a hero. I
Well,
think
The
he
boys
the
also have
point. Well,
heroes, and
yes, he's not, but
we could tell that the boys, they're definitely not for children. So
yeah.
true. But then they don't shy away from that part either. They don't try to be, I don't know, goofy. I love the boys as it's just an independent like superhero storyline. It's great, but they don't ever try to make themselves goofy or funny or wacky like Peacemaker does. That's what they try to get
I
into.
think I can agree with Grimm that this is sort of has like the crude humor that you would see in like South Park, Family Guy, that kind of stuff. That again, it's comedy, and just because it's funny and goofy and quirky, it doesn't mean it's kind of portrayed for kids. But I can see what you mean, right? Like it's sort of like trying to be goofy and funny, but also is doing something completely different at the same time, and it's kind of confusing what the tone is of the show, you know?
Yeah,
And I agree.
and this is also a series that's being put up in the DCEU canon to be portrayed right alongside things like the Justice League and
What? Which
like the films.
just
on
Well, hold on. Before we get there, because again, you're forgetting that we're doing two reviews. We're doing as a show and then as a comic book watcher. So
I know, but I'm just saying as a whole to like get people interested in this series. It seemed not misleading. That's the wrong word, but just not.
it's bizarre.
Yes, that's a good word.
It's
like
bizarre.
it's not. It doesn't fit. Yes.
Okay. All right, Lewis. So, what was your opinion on Peacemaker?
My opinion.
Yeah.
So I want to go by episode of what I believe. I don't think this was a good, successful showing from the first 3 episodes. Did have its moments. I'm gonna give it its moments when it's time. I'm gonna start off with the first episode. When I saw that opening dance scene for like the opening credits, I'm gonna say like it was good. It was good the first time I saw it, but the next time was like, alright, it's getting a little old. I thought you guys were gonna change it up, but they kept it at that same thing. I thought they could have done something different, like make a new dance scene or make something comedy related. And I did like how they reminded us about the Suicide movie that James Gunn made as well. And they have some funny moments, like the janitor scene in the beginning with Joe Mio, I think his name was, right?
Mm-hmm. I think so.
But it was just way too long.
Yeah.
I feel like it was way too long. Yeah, I thought they could add another scene, but it was funny at its moments. But when you keep dragging it on, it was okay. So, like I said, the janitor scene was way too long. It had its comedic moments, but when you keep dragging it, I lost interest in that scene.
That's fair.
I don't see Peacemaker as funny. Like he has his moments as well, but some moments be like, are you trying to be like showing me dark humor at this point? And I love my dark humor. It's just that it doesn't seem that funny. And the lady that they just introduced, I'm not sure what her relation was with Amanda Waller. I think that could be a good storyline to keep going with.
That's like
Amanda Waller's her daughter.
Yeah, that's her daughter.
Her daughter? Okay, because I had to skip that scene because I had to skip
She
a little bit because
says,
the sex
"Bye,
scene.
Mom." Oh.
No, because I had to skip it a little because of the sex scene.
I forgot.
And I'll get to that a little bit later. But that lead, Amanda Waller's daughter, she talks too much. I'm sorry. She talks way too much, and like sure, like at the beginning, she's like, okay, it's here and there, but she talks way too much. I was like, damn, it's gonna be like an ongoing gag. I see. Everybody seems like a fucking child too in this series. Not only in this episode, but everybody seems like a fucking child.
Yeah, agreed.
But I do like the storyline between the father and the son. I think that was something good, and that's what I was really hoping for from the trailers, is that he gets a little bit of character arc. But even in those 3 episodes, they still managed to fuck up that storyline, because now the father's in prison. I think they still could do something along that, and they also mentioned about how he's the White Knight, the neo-Nazi. The White Dragon, yeah. The White Dragon, the neo-Nazi character in the DC Comics, and I found it hilarious. And all of them saying, "Hail the White Dragon." That was perfect. I think that was pretty good. The script was pretty decent. I think it had its moments. I hate how they handled Vigilante. I honestly, it made him too of a fanboy, and that's I don't think that should have done it. I think he had one good redeeming scene as Vigilante, and that's when I believe in episode 3 he kills the family, and that's like perfect. I kind of like that scene, but everything else he just fucks around and be a dork as a fanboy, and it keeps making me feel like the Man of Water star. Still don't like her character. The cop seems dumb as shit. I do like the guy they got as a detective, and I don't know the actress's name, who's also the partner. But I remember that guy because he was in Scary Movie, and he was in another couple movies that I watched. I do like that character. And some like dumb moments like, why is Peacemaker robbing the lady? Like, I didn't fully understand that. That like, just grab your things, be like, oh, make him. Oh, let me actually look around. Why am I make him like seem a little bit smart, you know? But no, makes him rob the lady and make him undiscover some things. The affair for the marriage. Ah, that was intense. That was
that was great. That was great. I think that was definitely the funnier moment in the whole last few episodes.
It is the funniest moment. I would say that, and it was also. I want to give its props to in the third episode the vagina pick. That was pretty funny. The vagina pick, that was hilarious. But I think it was killed by Butt Baby. Butt Baby. It was like it killed the vibe for me. Like
okay, so Lewis,
that Butt Baby joke.
My question is to you: would you recommend this show to a? Let's start with a comic book fan. Would you recommend this show to any comic book fan?
Comic book fan. If I'm gonna rate this, if I could recommend it to someone, I will give it to a comic fan, 4 out of 10. I would like. The third episode got me. I think I started liking the show at the third episode. But as of right now, I'll get a 4 out of 10 as a comic fan.
Got it. And then what about for like the general public? Would you think that anyone who doesn't know about Peacemaker or the Suicide Squad should not watch this show?
I want to say that. I think it has a good story, and I think it could branch out to the common non-comic book fans. I think it could be a good show for them. It's just that it's not something typical that you see as a comic reader. I would give it a 6 out of 10. Like I said, I think they still have a couple more episodes to develop it out. And the third episode, I believe was the best one. After that, picks it up and makes it feel like the thing I wanted to watch.
Yeah. So I want to jump in straight into the spoiler review. So if you're watching after this point, there will be spoilers about Peacemaker's episode 1 through 3. And yeah, let's jump into it. I actually want to start this one off. Oh my god. What it I like that this show actually takes place right after Suicide Squad. He's now out of the same hospital that we saw him at the end of the movie. And it's kind of sweet. You guys will see before this our review of anything. Our friend TheNovaNuclear, Lewis, gave us his little 2 cents into what he thought of Peacemaker. And in my opinion, he's kind of right. There's a lot of sweet moments in this show that, like you said, this show has its moments. And you have things like the janitor scene, episode 1. That shit was fucking great. I love that. That's cute. That's adorable.
That was good. That was one of its brighter moments for sure.
And then we also have to talk about the opening sequence. Because, damn, that was fucking great. Like, when they do that little opening dance number. What do you guys think of that?
Well, I feel like the opening sequence, I feel like it was just crazy. It's like stupid, which is kind of like it made sense for the theme of the series. It was like actually matched really well. I remember like watching with my brother, and he was just like, "What the hell is this?" And I was just like, "That's kind of the point."
Yeah.
And it was fun to watch actually.
Yep. I enjoyed it. I feel like it gives you, like, before the show even starts, like in the first episode, it gives you a good outlook on like who the key players are, like. And like just the general cast, it was very sweet. It just reminded me of one of like those old not cartoons, one of those like sitcom intros that you see, like Full House, and was it Seinfeld? I think Seinfeld had it. I'm not sure. Grimm, what did you think about the opening sequence?
It got old really quickly.
Yeah,
Like at first, I thought it was
time you
fun
watch
and
it,
nice.
it's great.
Oh yeah, first time is wow factor,
Yeah,
but
like
after that it's pretty.
yeah,
Yeah, at the third.
Okay.
By the time I got to the third episode, I skipped it.
Fair enough.
I feel like that's I feel like that's a very common theme for all intros, like for every show.
This was
It's
definitely
just
like
like the habit
was
of
definitely a YouTube.
repetition. It's just like the
It was definitely
downfall.
like a YouTube video. Yeah.
I think besides the opening sequence, I think something that I liked that they started with in the first and second episode was that it was kind of only Peacemaker and Leota who were very childlike, right? Leota less of an extent because I guess that's just more of Leota's personality, but Peacemaker himself is like I wrote down it was like basically a teenager in John Cena's body, you know? And
I definitely can see that.
And I like that there was like a big disconnect from him and his team because his team is very serious. They're very like they have to stay on the mission, and it kind of proves the disconnect that Peacemaker has towards not only what he thinks is reality, but what is actually going on around him, which is great. I really enjoy that until they stop doing that, and apparently, like at the very end of episode 3, everyone's a fucking comedian, which makes no sense.
Yeah, they're cracking jokes in the I don't know, the surveillance van, and they're arguing about the book, and I was just like, they're all supposed to be serious, or at least two of them I can tell are actually serious, and then the other two are kind of like goofy in their own way. Not nearly to Peacemaker's degree, but like in their own unique way. But I don't know, I just got it's so polarizing. My own personal notes, what I took from when I watched it.
To me, I think that's probably one of the few things that I actually enjoyed as a comic book viewer, because it showed the realism in life. Like it showed that even agents that, like for example, with Emilia Harcourt, from the beginning she's shown as this tough CIA agent that just will not break. She is untouchable. But then you finally see her being more humane once there's a different topic, once the situation changes. And it's like sometimes you see people take off their guard. Sometimes people become vulnerable, which is entirely human. And I thought that part right there was one of the very few things that as a comic book viewer and as someone with a deeper thought could appreciate.
I
So to me, those type of moments were key to humanity.
I enjoy like I enjoy those moments where she's like opening up to Peacemaker because like in episode 3 when they're in Stakeout, they like start talking
Yeah.
about like why they are the people that they are, which is great. I like those moments. What I don't like is that you have someone like Murr who, for some reason, opens up to fucking dyed beer like Economo, and he's just like,
Yeah.
I can't feel anything, right? What the fuck?
Yeah, that's so out of. I agree.
Well,
That was so out of left
Looking
field,
back
and
at
it
it,
felt
looking back
off.
at it now, I guess it kind of fits into character since he doesn't know like social cues, right? And that's kind of nice. But also, like, I don't know. There's a lot of things about the humor and like the placing of it that kind of catches me off guard. And we're talking about characters. I really like them. I think they're pretty.
What I have a comment on that specific part. The problem is Clemson Mern isn't an established character. I searched up and DC does not have such a character.
So this is
So
James Gunn,
we
like
we
taking creative
yeah,
license.
this is a brand new character
Wait, so are you
who's
saying?
supposed to be the
Wait, is this the first ever DCEU
I
created character?
no, there's a few actually.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Actually, most of this show is DCEU created. Like for example, the butterflies don't exist.
Yeah, I kind of got that from how just
Yeah. So
out of whack
before,
they were from the get go.
yeah,
Like they didn't
before
explain anything.
before I get to the butterflies, because I have a lot of comments on those, I want to continue on Mern. And the problem is, we don't know who his character is. He's brand new to us. And they try to establish that he's this hardcore motherfucker that you cannot get through. And then within 3 episodes, we see him getting through.
Yeah, I feel like we also have to look at it as like there is more than just these 3 episodes. There's a full 8 episode series, right? And I guess this is sort of just like us. And I guess this is sort of why they only put the first 3 episodes out. It's just the intro part. This is what like is going to jumpstart the rest of the show.
which is bad. Because think about it.
Yeah,
If
it's
we
like
have a
3
character
episodes. If it takes you
that's
3
supposed to
episodes,
be raw, hard to breathe, and he's already breathed within the first 3 episodes. At this point, every character is fluid, which I don't like. I like when characters have some sort of journey going across, some sort of character telling. But when every character could flop around and switch around, that's just not fun.
Yeah, I also don't like that they decided like I like having content, I like having it purposely, but I think what Ralph said in the beginning when the non-spoiler review, this could have been like a like because I know the episodes are usually like 40 something minutes long. This could have just been an hour long episode, and I think it would have done like better.
they wasted 3 out of the 8 episodes, in my opinion. Like, if it took you 3 episodes to do the whole introduction thing, like that's kind of bad.
Yeah,
Like the
but
fact that
Like
they
it
dragged it
Yeah.
makes
out
me
for that
think,
long.
what are the next 5 gonna be?
Yeah, that's the real question. If that's the setup, what is the middle and then the follow through and then the
That's what I'm
end?
worried.
Like the
That's
last
what I'm
2
worried about, though.
episodes.
Because if it took so like, if the intro is not even that great, like how are you going to continue? Like, for regular viewers, how are they going to continue watching the show? Because I know
Like
like
it took
my family
it took
that watched it, they only watched episode 1. They're like, I hate this. Like, I'm not going to watch this anymore.
It's not like a
It's
family. It's
definitely
not a family enjoyment. It's
hold up.
just crude
It's definitely an
in
intended
its
audience.
generalness.
Wait, did you watch this with your family?
I watched one. I watched
Episode
the first
1
episode.
of all episodes too, by the
I
way.
watched. I watched the first episode with my family, but the other 2 I watched by myself.
Dude.
It wasn't my idea.
This
It was
is the
because
spoiler review, so we can say they
No,
get up
they-
to some pretty weird shit in the first
No, I know.
episode, even.
They
I
fuck.
know.
Peacemaker
It's-
fucks.
it's-
Yeah,
Zach,
literally.
grow a pair of
I know.
balls.
I didn't want to
Listen.
go there, but like, still,
Listen,
it's
it wasn't my
there out in
choice.
the open.
It wasn't my choice. All right, like the only HBO Max account that was signed in was on my living room TV, so it was uncomfortable.
So,
Say
like,
that.
as they're just going through their day to day, they just hear John Cena just go, "Freedom! Fuck yeah!"
Oh, yeah, that was
That was
the
funny.
comedic
Yeah, I
part
had
too.
to-
Oh,
Oh, as soon as my youngest brother walked in, I literally turned him around, and just pushed him.
He's fucking be like, "No,
that,
you don't get to see this yet, or never."
Yeah, even though it was like 15.
yeah, that's probably not a great show to be watching.
Can I talk about the butterfly real quick?
Sure, let's break down the.
I think
butterfly.
this is a good time to segue to that.
Because I wanna because I wanna open up with that scene. So the whole John Cena having sex with one of the butterflies, and then like the team discovering later on, and then asking like, why would the butterfly have sex? I feel like that has some sort of meaning. I feel that they're trying to show that inside the brain, the actual person is there still, but the butterfly is still controlling the other movements. So I feel like that desire to fuck him was there, so the butterfly allowed it. But after the butterfly discovered that he found out, it's a moment of, oh, we gotta kill him now. And I think it's weird that they're creating this new alien species of butterflies, because what I see is that they're trying to do a secret invasion
Yeah, it feels
without
like that.
doing a secret invasion, because there's no such character in the DC comics that does what the butterfly is doing. And the fact is that they're trying to do this whole thing of you don't know who's a regular person and who's not. That is very secret invasion, and I do not like it.
Do you guys like that? I personally like that James Gunn is going for something like original concepts, just so like because like I think when we watch Marvel movies, we're so expectant to see pre-existing stuff from comics that I find it kind of refreshing when we don't get something that correlates to comics at all or not as much.
I don't feel the same way, because if you're making a comic book themed movie or something that like an IP character, and then you just make it yours, it's not authentic.
It's rough. It's rough for Peacemaker specifically because, like you said, this character in the comic is very fucking political and is very different than
He's
how
like the
he
political
is.
Punisher for context. Like
Yeah.
that's him.
Yeah, and I think it's good that Gunn changed the way he is. Like you said, it's kind of necessary. But I don't know. I feel like the butterflies are like I think they're a pretty cool idea. It's kind of funny because it's sort of like COVID pandemic going on. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy. Do I think that it's a cool concept? Yeah. Do I think that I would have rather seen something from Peacemaker's run in the comics or literally anything else? Maybe too. I don't know. Well, again, we have to wait and see what they do with them because we've only saw like only a fraction of what the master plan for them is. And then we also, if we want to talk about the side, we also have the B plot, which is Peacemaker's dad is the White Dragon, which is fucking
Yeah, that was
insane.
very reminiscent of modern time, like real world stuff.
You know what's crazy? So I did a lot. Like I deep dived into this series, especially with the comic books and stuff. And it's funny that they mixed two characters for Peacemaker's dad. Because Peacemaker's dad, his original name is Wolfgang Schmidt, and he's also a Nazi. But what's it called? White Dragon. He is multiple people doing one role, and what and like I think two of them are also white racist supremacists, and just the fact that they mixed Wolfgang, who's semi not a threat because he committed suicide when Peacemaker was 5, and then they made someone like White Dragon, who's actually somewhat of a threat, combine into one character and make him an official threat is kind of cool. It's just like, what does this mean for the actual universe?
Yeah, it's also kind of weird that Peacemaker's dad was Wolfgang, right? That's his name.
Yeah, Wolfgang Schmidt, the real one.
Yeah, so like Wolfgang Schmidt, he just has a fucking arsenal of things for Peacemaker in his house. And I always wonder, I'm like, where does he get this technology? Like,
Well, that's the thing.
That's
The thing.
There's so much backstory for them that like
No. So
no,
listen. So I could give you some context. In the comics, Wolfgang Schmidt, he's just a regular Nazi with no real arsenal. He just works with other Nazis. But White Dragon, who's a different entirely character, is a scientist who's smart and has a lot of technology and a techno suit that actually could fight off Batman if he wanted to. So they're I guess they're doing that version instead of Peacemaker's actual dad. Because in the show he even has a different name. In the show his name is August Smith. So it's just he's like what I feel like James Gunn is doing, he's trying to make too much quote unquote original stuff by using old stuff, and it's just not making much sense. Especially when you only have 8 episodes to tell a story and you're creating characters from scratch technically and not giving them their backgrounds.
something I want to touch on too, that like I want to bring out like a little bit more positive. I guess something that I found positive was how emotionally volatile Peacemaker is, and it's so good for his character. Because you have that scene where he like plays one of the stolen vinyl records he stole from like the Butterfly Girls like apartment. He starts fucking crying because he knows that he's a dick and that no one likes him. But yet he still does the things that he does. And I find that great because it's him accepting he's like who he is, but it's also this character still needs some growth because he's still doing the basically the asshole things that he does.
True, I do think that it's good. It lays a good groundwork. I agree with that. James Gunn lays a really good groundwork for character growth, but like it's like that's his whole like from the get go. That's his whole thing is him being an asshole, him being goofball, and basically messing shit up and then getting it not getting away with it, but coming out of it not unscathed, but okay. I guess is the best way to put it. Like he had a This
but
is a spoiler part.
This is like one of the
Suicide Squad. He had a building dropped on him, and he got his neck like slit almost. How did he not die? It's
Yeah,
like they kind of like
I'm
take
talking
some
about
license with that stuff.
This is one of the like direct scenes where he is telling you that he really just hates himself, you know?
Yeah,
And I feel like that's powerful, especially for a character as fucked up as him, you know?
true, very true.
Also, Batmite is canon.
Oh yeah, I was a little happy
I
with
want
that.
yo, when that scene happened, I looked at Kate and I grabbed my Batmite pop and I'm like, look! And I was super excited. I was screaming.
That's so funny because when I saw that, I'm
I
like,
hate.
wow.
But you know what's crazy? You know, the one thing that bothers me is in comics, they retcon Batmite.
What?
Meanwhile, in the DCEU, he's technically real.
No,
Well,
he is real.
they're
He's not
easily going to
technically.
retcon everything nowadays because of all the changes that they're supposedly making with the Flash film. So, I mean,
No, yeah, but
I'm
like,
just going
I
to say for the
actually,
small part, the DCEU is a mess, and I don't think we should take anything as foundation from
no,
anything.
I know, but I kind of like that Batmite is like actually canonized
Oh, I
because
do too.
in the
It
in the
opens up so many
comics,
doors, but
yeah, in the comics they said that Batmite is a figment of Bruce Wayne's imagination to help him get in order whenever he's feeling like he's going insane, which I felt like was terrible. Why would you do something to a character that has like a decent fan base, but they love him to death?
Yeah, and like also for me, I grew up with Batmite from Batman the Brave and the Bold, and they have like entire like specials and episodes centered around him that were cute, and I really enjoyed the character. So I'm glad that he's in the DCEU. I really hope they do something with him in the future because that would be so funny.
Yes, that would be amazing.
Speaking of wall breaking characters, I want to talk about Vigilante and how I'm kind of sad he's sort of just like a DC Deadpool. And I don't know, I don't think I'm okay with that because for some of you that watch the Arrow show, Vigilante's completely different
oh
than,
yes.
than what he is in here. But you know, of course, if it's different to make the character better, I'm okay with it. I just don't like that he literally just feels like Deadpool to me.
I can 100% agree. From the first, not even the first episode. Well, no, the first episode we don't really see him at all. Just the second episode, he comes out the gate sounding and acting exactly like Marvel's Deadpool. Ryan Reynolds' interpretation is like almost copy and pasted. Just put him in a different suit
Yeah.
and a different guy. That's it.
Ralph, what do you think?
For Batman personally, I never like had a close connection with the character, but I feel like having him canonized, like having something so out of the blue, like that has nothing to do with Peacemaker, just reference that is like it's kind of gold to be honest. Like hearing that, I was like,
What do you mean by that?
what?
Like the Batmite stuff or the Vigilante stuff?
I'm talking about Batmite, but Vigilante, I feel like I hate like I like it and hate it at the same time. Because I like that he's kind of nerdy and like I like that there's a character like that in the series, but I feel like it's so contrasted to his actual human being. Like it seems like he's too scared. Like it really seems like he's too scared to really be a killer in that sort of way.
I
And
don't think that at all, actually, because like when he was talking to the other worker in the restaurant, he was super obsessed with Peacemaker, and the moment he saw Peacemaker's back, he just started saying, "Peacemaker's back. I need to be back," and all this. And you could tell that even his regular personality does not care about killing.
Well, I think no. I think the reason why he cares about so much about his personality and why he kind of lies about it is because I think he's like he likes the thrill of being able to kill people and
get away with
not having any responsibility.
Also, that he thinks it has like this great importance. The fact that he's killing these people. It
no,
seems
I don't.
from those. Yeah.
It's not. He even admitted it's from pure joy. It's like from the
Yeah.
thrill. Like he even
Yeah,
talks
but I don't think
about it.
he's.
Like
I don't think he's hiding his identity for that. I feel like it's just he finds himself to be so dorky and irrelevant that having this suit makes him be somebody. It's that whole I was a nobody before the mask, but now that I have a mask, everybody wants to know who I am.
So
So in
you're
the
saying
same
that
respect,
motherfucker-
Peacemaker is also like that. Like he's trying to
Uh,
fill his father's shoes and then
I don't think
worried that
that's
he's not
the
going to live up to it.
I
Peacemaker.
want to be a
I
racist
feel,
like you, Papa.
Yeah, he
because
kind
the
of
thing,
had that moment in I think it was the second episode.
Yeah,
He
but
kind of had that moment where it's like, I don't want to be like that.
yeah, but
you know what I told my girlfriend? I was like, when Peacemaker fell on the balcony and he said hello to the little black girl, I was like, see, he's not racist.
you would have said.
A racist wouldn't have time to do that.
There you go.
It was the boy, and oops.
Yeah, I didn't want to correct you, but I didn't quite remember.
So not
I
Hey,
only
remember I was a
man,
kid, but I was
all
like,
the
I was looking at him like,
Grimm, at least we know you're not racist. But we now know you're sexist as fuck.
Actually, it's
Ask
quite
you to
the
leave the
opposite.
podcast.
Actually, it's quite the opposite. I'm seeing children as fluid as they could be whatever they want to be. So, if
Shit,
anything
shit,
here,
I'm
you're the
gone.
biggest.
I'm gone. I'm already
Exactly.
dead.
Exactly. Don't ever argue with me because I know my facts.
I don't even
But
wanna, I don't even want to argue.
no, but back to Vigilante. Personally, I kind of like him because he's sort of like Deadpool. Again, you guys know I'm a Deadpool fan, and considering that Deadpool was stolen straight out of Slade Wilson, it's like that's DC biting you back in the ass.
well,
And so,
I gotta give Marvel credit though on one thing with Wilson. Wilson has no sense of humor. If anything, it's more towards Peacemaker's sense of humor, like that dark, like edgy humor than it is Wade Wilson's humor.
Well,
Deadpool's trying to make everything funny, silly, and like carefree.
well, you're talking about the origins, right? They didn't really intend for
yeah,
it to be like that.
what's it called?
True, but I'm
Like
just saying
that.
the character as a whole now, how people just see him as a whole now in just
But again, what
movies
he's
and
saying
cinema
is
and
that
everything.
he originated from DC.
From
True.
Wade, yeah.
Yeah.
Like Wade Wilson wouldn't exist if what's his name? Deathstroke didn't exist. The whole reason why they made Wade Wilson
mean-
was to be a
yeah, okay.
parody. So it's it's again, this is the same thing. This is Vigilante originally, he's very serious, very angry, he has anger issues. So changing him to someone that's a dork and who's fun is it's a nice twist for me at least, to finally have a DC character that could have fun. But the problem is now every DC character wants to have fun, and it's becoming lame at some point.
So my question is to you guys is, especially to Ralph, because I really want to know, Ralph. I want to start with you. What is your favorite scene from the last 3 episodes?
I'd probably say like the janitor scene, like that like small talk between all of them. I actually really enjoyed that one. Uh, it was kind of a like for me it was kind of a letdown afterwards. It was kind of like, how are you going to like it really seems like that opening scene was very much like, okay, this is a comedy. This is how it's going to be. Like this is how the whole series is going to be. And then after that, it kind of like started to go a little bit off the rails and like still comedy, still crazy, but like in kind of a scattered direction where everybody's going that route and not just the theme of the show is like it it felt really the opening scene felt very grounded in a sense that this is where Peacemaker is right now, but then like after that it kind of just it went crazy to the point where everyone went crazy, and it was just weird for me.
Yeah. Zach, what was your favorite scene?
Hearing Ralph say that, I'm reminded of the first scene, and I really did love it. It was Ralph was right. It set the tone for the series. I thought it was going to, and then it took a 180 towards what it became. And I did enjoy the first scene, but I also liked the overall the even though it was really weird. The third episode's like central plot was the whole Butterfly Mansion senator thing. It was I liked what the characters did there. It was weird. It was wacky, but it was definitely the better side of the show. I can tell from the overall 3 episodes. But it's, again, like we said earlier, it's definitely a little discouraging that it took 3 episodes to get there and to that point.
Fair enough. Grimm, what is your favorite scene from the last 3 episodes?
For me, it's closer to the end, actually. The moment where they're infiltrating the mansion, you get to actually see all the characters. When they're putting the adhesive, you see Adebayo lick the adhesive, and you can see how much of a dumbass she really is. Then you see Mern trying to get through the mission because that's what he tries to do. You see
Hardcore.
no Adam, what's the dude's name?
Diebeer.
Diebeer.
What with Diebeer, you see him ram into Judo Master, and
That was so
Yeah,
fucking
that
good.
was pretty good.
and you see him hit him with a crowbar, and you could tell he doesn't want to kill him, but he has a mission. So he hits him and hits him and hits him, and so he can't move. And you can see him like panicking and like, holy shit,
No, I don't
I
think he
did
gives
it.
a
And
fuck
holy
about if he
shit, I
kills him or
didn't
not.
want to do it.
He's just like
he was
creeped
more-
out that the guy was still standing.
Yeah,
No, but
like, the man
no,
was still going after like being hit by a
there was a
car
moment-
and like having no legs.
No, there was a moment where he hit him, and he's like, "Oh, and like he actually
Yeah, I remember that.
hesitated. Yeah,
But that's
so
fucking
you could
great.
tell
That's a
his
great scene.
you could tell who his character is. Then with Peacemaker and Adrian Chase, you could also see who they both are when they're both tied up. You see Peacemaker being an asshole as he is, and Adrian actually being afraid for his life because he finally realized that even when he has his suit, even when he has his mask, he's not fully immortal. He's not invulnerable. And you could see that fear in his eye. And that whole last scene with the sequence and everything, that shows which every character is. And it's terrible that they it took so long to show who the fuck the characters are, and it's probably gonna change within the next 5 episodes.
I agree with that
Yeah.
completely. That was more or less what I got from it. Also, to add on to your point, in that scene where Vigilante was getting tortured, it kind of also displays the relationship, the exact relationship. It kind of like cuts it dry for Vigilante, that Peacemaker, like you said, doesn't give a fuck and is willing to let Vigilante get tortured, get his balls electrocuted, which must be ungodly painful. And it kind of like wakes him up, I guess. I saw it like once or twice where he was looking at him like, please don't let this happen. He's like, oh, and he gets his ball shocked. And he's like having this realization of, oh my God, he doesn't care. I'm just getting tortured for the sake of getting tortured at this point.
And Vigilante, like I said, he's obsessed with Peacemaker. So the fact that you saw your own hero
Right.
just look at you in the eye as you're getting tortured
He's
and say,
smiling at
"Ooh,
you
I love
as
it."
your balls are getting
It's just-
electrocuted.
Yeah, so
I'm pretty sure he winked at him at one point.
yeah, he did. When he said, "Oh, I love it. Please keep it going," he winked at him to like, say like,
Yeah.
"This is good."
It just goes to show like the
I like it.
characters.
I like it
I
a
like.
lot. I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up anything.
Yeah.
Don't worry,
It
man. I
shows
won't give
them-
up shit. Wink.
Yeah. It shows all their. It's like Grimm said.
Okay.
It shows all their like select character traits in that scene when they're all put in a more pressure sensitive setting.
I think for me, my favorite scene is probably just it's something so stupid. Like as like Peacemaker is just running out of the apartment, the cops are chasing him, goes into this couple's room, and he starts flirting with the wife.
Well,
no,
in
no, no, no,
Peacemaker's
no, no.
defense, the
Get
wife
it
flirted
straight.
with him.
The wife starts flirting with him.
Yeah. But then
We got to
like,
give the man one
this
thing.
is
He didn't
so
start
funny.
it.
Like
Well,
she's
they ended
fully
up
into
having
it.
sex, though.
Yeah.
They ended up
Yeah.
having sex. Though.
Okay.
Yeah,
Also,
in the
let me
last
get
scene
to
when
that.
Vigilante's
Let
in
me
the
get-
bed. Oh
you
God.
shut up.
No,
Bruh.
did you guys see the last like the small end credit / blooper scenes?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I did not.
No, I
Like,
did not.
she's like, can I keep? She's like, can I keep that?
Oh yeah, I saw that one. I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's probably my favorite thing out of the 3 episodes. I'm like, this is fucking hilarious. Yeah.
Oh, the vehicle, the butterfly's vehicle. Is that what you're talking about?
What?
What?
The end credit scene that you were talking about.
No, no, I was talking
Oh,
about
it's
when
episode.
she's in the police station and they're showing pictures of who the criminal is, and she goes like, "It's definitely not that one. Can I keep that one? I want to fuck him."
Oh,
And then
yeah,
you
yeah,
get the
yeah.
husband
Okay.
be like,
I don't think
"What
that's what
the
he said.
fuck?"
I don't think this. Yo, but it's pretty good. This when the humor hits, the humor hits.
True.
Yeah.
It definitely is like you can see the Suicide Squad's humor reflected in this.
I think
Definitely.
there's also something that I feel like is sort of my own bias fighting against the show, is that I'm expecting something super, at least not super serious, but something that takes itself kind of seriously, and this show really doesn't. And I think that's something I have to get used to as I'm watching it, because I really do like this show, and I really hope it gets better. And you know, I think oh, I just remembered something. Here's the one thing that fucking infuriated me about episode 3. So you guys remember where Peacemaker is on stakeout and he has his eyes set like straight on the family in the dining room, right?
Yes.
Why the fuck does he aim for the kid first? If he doesn't want to shoot the kid, why doesn't he shoot the fucking dad? He's right there. What is gonna stop him?
Or the mom. I would have shot the mom.
I don't give a fuck. He didn't
No,
have
they
to shoot
did
the kids
get
first. He didn't have to
No,
shoot the kids
I
first.
think at
That's
that point
something-
he's like
Yeah.
it's for him. He's like every man, woman, and child.
Nope.
Like
he didn't,
that's
he
his
didn't
whole.
Give a fuck, he
Like
didn't
it's
give a
his.
fuck about dad. He doesn't give a fuck about the
Oh,
mom
I
and
know
dad.
he didn't, but it's his like it's the
With the kid,
justification to
yeah.
himself. I think that he's just like, okay, if I kill the
No,
kid,
you
well,
know
what does it matter
what?
about the wife and the father? Like,
It'll be
You know what I
easier.
think
It
they
all
should have
bets
done?
are off
I
at
think,
that point.
Yeah.
I think they should have done a flashback of him young
That
and
would
make
have
it
been good.
like he's fighting himself technically, and it's like, damn, I don't want to kill this kid, but I don't want this kid to turn out to be a disaster and kill all the people. But they didn't do that. They just showed him
But
just
he was
aiming for him
confirmed
for
to
no reason.
be a butterfly, so no matter what, he was gonna
Yeah.
be a menace to society.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
even
but they
after
should have
they
showed like
confirmed
a
it, like, he
flashback or
couldn't-
something.
I don't know. I feel like it's kind of stupid that he really could have just shot the parents. That's fucking dumb. Yeah.
I agree. It's a
That's
little.
Like, that's my.
It's
biggest
a
gripe
missed
with this
opportunity,
show.
and it's a little stupid. But
Yeah.
again, we're as much as we all probably want to root for this series because it is DC and we all do like the characters.
Oh, I'm rooting for the series already.
Yeah,
this
but like
series is gonna
it
be,
does make
at
they don't
best,
make it
good.
easy. We got to admit they don't make it easy.
Can I make like an observation that's not totally related to this, but kind of?
Of
I mean,
course.
the court is yours, my friend.
So the character Peacemaker comes from an old comic book company called Charlton Comics, which they went bankrupt and DC bought the characters. They bought like Ted Kord, Peacemaker. They bought Vigilante, and who was the other one? And the Question. So the I just and Judo Master. They also bought Judo Master from this company. And the fact that Argus is so involved, I just found out that the logo of this company looks close to almost exactly as the one for Argus.
Mm.
And since Argus is so involved, especially since the what's it called? Harcourt, since she is heavily connected to Argus, as she said she worked for the program, it's just like a nice little thing to recognize that the Argus logos looks exactly like the company that first owned Peacemaker and some other characters.
Yeah, that's cool. I didn't even notice that.
That's a nice
Yeah.
recognition and nod. But I do think.
Yeah.
Did you guys notice this though? To build off of that in respect to the show, and not to distract, I want you to get back to your point, Grim. Did anybody notice that we never actually figure out who Amanda Waller works for? Like they don't associate with Argus. They don't know. All they say is the government. They never say
No,
whether it's U.S. or like.
It's a thing. It's like a branch of Task Force X.
Right, but there's no like Task Force X is either the U.S. government or it's Argus or it's some.
I'm pretty sure it's
DC
still the
I think
government
that's
because
the
Peacemaker
organization.
said
yeah.
multiple times that he is working for the government.
But Peacemaker
no,
didn't
but
even
I
know
think- I
who's
think-
like
no,
the only
I think that-
reason I'm willing to go against that is because he doesn't even know what he's doing.
What do you
Like
want to say?
Peacemaker's not the
think
most
that's part of the
reliable like
mystery,
guide.
Zach, I think that's part of the mystery, which I feel that
I can give that.
I feel like they're gonna remember when they the team was in the like the restaurant, and they look outside and they see Peacemaker in his car and then the Eagle, and then they say, "Oh, she's
Oh
fucking
shit,
with
we
us."
forgot to talk about Baldy. Or
Well,
Eagly.
eagerly. But, hold
Oh,
on. But let me hold
yeah,
on.
we can get to
And
that.
so, and
Definitely.
they said, oh, she's fucking with us. I feel like low key, she's doing this behind the actual government's back. I feel like they're gonna find out that she's been lying to them, or not lying, but like doing something that she shouldn't be done, and they find out. That's probably why she's not there in person, and that why they have her daughter in there.
I also find it
I
so
kind of agree with
stupid.
that. Given what Suicide Squad set up, that definitely makes sense because it's not she doesn't have the backing of the U.S. government behind her. She's more like scrapping together what she can to get shit done. So that makes sense to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I find it so
Maybe
stupid.
this.
How does a mom let her child be like, yeah, so you're gonna fight these super powered individuals, and they're probably gonna try and kill you, but you know what, honey, I have faith. Good luck. Bye.
Well, they don't make her
Well,
like this random nut job that goes to try to do stuff. They
Yeah.
say they kind of give her a tee up with like the whole being 14 and being a like capable combatant and this like assassin almost.
True, but like what mother in their right mind would be like, yeah, I would send my own child out to a
but you're
place where I know
forgetting
he's
she's
gonna get killed.
Amanda
old.
Waller, that too. You're
She has no
forgetting who the
heart.
character is.
Yeah. Also, I gotta admit, um, I forgot her name, but the actress for Amanda Waller, she
Viola
is
Davis.
fantastic. Wow, I wish she was in more stuff. But I just wish they had her in more DC stuff because she's amazing.
Yeah, she is a very good
True.
actress, and I liked for her was her original Suicide Squad, I believe it was 2016. How far back was that? The original Suicide
2016.
Squad.
2016.
Yeah. I liked her, Amanda Waller, from that. She was cutthroat. She didn't care. The newest one with James Gunn, not that he messed her up, but like he made her seem more out of control. Like she doesn't have all her shit together, which is something that if you read the comics, Amanda Waller always has her shit together. She knows where everyone is and what's going on. She's almost like the Nick Fury of DC, kind of in a way, just not as heroic at all.
So, gents, I want to give just some final words to this sort of premiere, and I think it's also good that we keep in mind this is a premiere. What
True.
happens in these 3 episodes is not going to like completely and overall affect our whole point on the show for the next until February. I feel like we're probably gonna have not a stark, a very different opinion, but we're gonna have a better opinion how the show is once it fully wraps up and we finally get the bigger picture of everything. But I feel like for the first of many DC shows that are not from the CW, it's good. It's not great, it's not amazing, it's not, what I expected, but it's a good show for me at least.
Not to get off of topic because I know you want to wrap up, but
You are going to get off topic, aren't you? You son of a bitch.
well, I just want you brought up something that I hadn't thought about. You talked about DC
You
shows, and I
squatty
realized how many.
fuck. Don't go off topic with me, Ralph. Speak.
I'll wrap up my part so that we can finish. As a
Sure.
comic book fan, this show is not good. There's too many creative directions that just completely eradicate the character from who they are. Well, the characters from who they are, and new characters that they haven't even developed correctly. So as a comic book reader and as a comic book lover, this show isn't it. As a watcher, as someone who would enjoy a Family Guy episode here and then, it is an entertaining show. It's a show for the background and to not really care or have any main thoughts from. It's just there.
Ralph.
I really agree with Grimm on the comic book thing. Like it really seems like a lot of the characters are kind of just hoping you believe them because oh we're DC, it's from like it'll probably be in the comics, right? You know that'll probably be from the comics, but it's really not. It's like a whole like other end of things. It's like a whole new thing, and you kind of just have to take their word for it that oh trust me, this is how the character is, and like this is how we're gonna do it, and it's not even in a way that they can say, "Hey, we're just taking a new take on the characters." No, they're completely starting from scratch. Like they completely started from they completely scrapped some comic book ideas and created their own. And as a viewer of the show, I can see how appealing that is. But as a comic book reader, it's kind of just like, all right, that kind of feels like you're literally just shitting in my face. It's like you're really just trying to just some things that comic book fan readers would actually like enjoy, like, or from Peacemaker's backstory. It's like you haven't even gotten there yet, and it's just hard to be a comic book fan while you're watching the show. And it's really hard to enjoy as a comic book fan.
So for you, Ralph, because I actually enjoy that you are strictly against the show. Well, not strictly against, just strictly disappointed in the show. What would you want to see? And I guess this also goes out to Grimm too. What would you guys want to see happen for these characters? Do you want it to be maybe not as light of a mood? Do you want maybe more personal connections and more characterization for these guys? What's going on in your head?
Having a light mood is very different. Like it's not the mood that makes it weird. It's the fact that it seems like without purpose. It really seems like it's kind of just go along for the ride kind of thing where you don't have any purpose to any character. Like it really seems like don't take anything seriously. Like don't take a single scene seriously. Even the ones that are supposed to be like emotionally challenging, like the one where Peacemaker was actually crying on his bed. Like it kind of like those kind of scenes are diminished because like the rest of the show is kind of just like, oh, don't take the rest of this seriously. We're kind of just fooling around type of thing. So I preferred if like they actually had some actual some serious like it doesn't have to be serious like the whole way through or anything like that. It just has to make it clear that
Some
it's something
solid
more serious.
content. Not
Yeah,
everything
exactly.
is just free. Yeah.
There has to be a good
I
distinction between like serious and
yeah.
like humor. I get that. Good.
Yeah, I fully agree with Raph. I feel like if they change the whole everything is, funny and jokes and whatever, it could be better, but also the amount of freedom that they took, I think that ruins it for me because we have 8 episodes to figure out who the fuck these characters that they just made up are, and it feels like they're just copying Secret Invasion too much. The butterflies aren't at all anything DC usually does. So the fact that we have these aliens that could be anybody and you could be betrayed by your own person or your own people, and it's just like that's not, I don't know, like it's just, it doesn't work for me.
Fair. All right. Zach, Mister. I don't mean to interject. What is your point of view on the series so far, and what would you want to see improved?
I share a lot of Grimm and Raph's sentiments, very much so. It takes way too much joking without recentering the series to keep the thing going. It's just generally off the rails. So what I want to improve of it, it would be hopefully add in or get to a point where we can add in more of the scenes like what Grimm was talking about, where he hesitated with the kid, and then we'd flash back to him being, I don't know, maybe like taught by his father or like roughed up, or make like having him go through remember those experiences, having to relive them through his eyes now as an adult, like being Peacemaker, and take this series a little bit more into its own hands and try to direct it somewhere by doing stuff like that. Like, obviously, Peacemaker is going to grow as a character, we hope, and he still retains his funny humor, but grows overall. And then we get something with that growth instead of just, I don't know, radical humor, I guess, from him.
True. All right. Fair enough. Boys, I want to say thank you for coming on today. Thank you, Zach, for being our guest. Um, yeah, just thank you guys. I really hope Peacemaker gets better, and I really hope that the show proves that the creative directions that it takes are not without purpose. And here's to another 5 episodes, right? because I think we only have 8 in this series. So yeah, everyone, have a great night. Take care of yourselves, and peace out. Bye, everybody.
Have a wonderful night.